do this ahead of time.
Rob should just stand in the background and be like a joke.
Or not.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sarah Buttroff with Travel Leaders Galaxy Travel. We have 3 locations, 2 in Minnesota, Owatonna, Apple Valley, and then one lovely little beauty in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. So today we are going to do a quick journey and talk to 4 of our specialists, well, 3 others because I'm the 4th, but about one of my favorite festivals at Walt Disney World, and it's the Flower and Garden Festival. Okay, so we're going to do a quick introduction of all the lovely advisors, and I'm going to have them just answer. They're going to tell you their name, where they're located, and then what is their favorite festival at Walt Disney World.
Hi, I'm Sarah Newberry. One of my favorite festivals, although it's not an official festival, is actually during the summer. One of my favorites is the Guardians of the Galaxy's concert series. It's just hands down my favorite.
I am Lori Zeller from Apple Valley, Minnesota. My favorite EPCOT festival is when there's a festival, which is pretty much all the time except summer. I'm a freak about the EPCOT festival. If you had to really make me choose one, I would actually probably pick Festival of the Holidays. One of the things that I really love about the holidays is A, it's the holidays, no explanation needed, but B, it's kind of fun to not only taste all the foods and that are a part of how different countries celebrate the holidays, but you can go around to the different holiday storytellers and listen to how each country or each religion or each culture how they celebrate their holidays in whatever form that might be.
Hi, I'm Eustacia Muir, and I'm from Lewisburg, Pennsylvania office. And I love all the festivals, but my favorite actually is the Flower and Garden Festival also, because I love the flowers and the topiaries.
Right. So we're just going to kind of go around, and we'll have lots of photos for you all, but we're just going to kind of go and ask our advisors some fun questions about the Flower and Garden Festival. So Lori kind of touched on it. The one thing that's super fun about the Flower and Garden Festivals is the food. Like, there's so many of these awesome food booths, and every festival, they have different things. Lori Z, why don't you talk about real quick about how you get the passport, and then you can kind of go around and they have lists of all the food.
Yeah, I've got different years here. Food and wine. Festival of the Holidays.
But you won't have a flower and garden.
I don't have a flower and garden. I don't.
What? Whoops.
All right.
Sarah will post
You know what?
a
It seems to have one of those around here somewhere, but because I remember that passport, but I don't know where it is.
Did you look under your bed? Because that's where mine would be.
Okay, so all of the different festivals at EPCOT have a passport. There's passports for Festival of the Arts, Flower and Garden Festival, International Food and Wine Festival, Festival of the Holidays, all the different festivals. These are from various years. In each passport, you'll have the opportunity to, it'll kind of be your little guide to get you through the festival. And there's little spots where you can stamp your passport, and it'll tell you the different foods that are available at all of the different booths all around World Showcase. So you can kind of plan ahead a little bit and see if there's something that sounds really, really nummy, because unfortunately there's just so much food in only one stomach. So you do have to plan sometimes a little bit, if otherwise you're not going to get very far and you'll be stuffed. So you have to pace yourself. Sometimes you have to be a little picky unless you plan your entire trip around that particular festival. But Flower and Garden is one you really could plan completely around the festival, just because of not only the food, but obviously everything else that's going around. But that's the passport is truly your passport to the World Showcase festivals at Epcot.
The other thing that is super cool about the Flower and Garden Festival, it is like the perfect like mom-daughter trip if your mom likes flowers, but most moms do. And then the other one is like a girls trip, because any festival is awesome for a couples trip, girls trip, whatever. Because when Lori was just talking about all the fun like food booths, but what's super fun is you have like, 5 or 6 people, you get like 2 little food items, and then you all share. So then you all get to taste it, but then you literally can eat around the world, and it's amazing because we have all done that.
And they'll smell like tapas size. It's not like a plate of dinner. It's not a huge portion. It's a small portion, but yet shareable. So everybody can get a bite or two of the one thing, and then you move on to the next booth and get 2 or 3 things there and get a bite or two of each of those, and then move on to the next booth, which is why it works fabulously for what Sarah was saying with doing, going with, 5 or 6 girlfriends or, a few couples or something like that.
Let's talk a little bit. We talked a little bit about food, and then we'll talk about if anybody has their favorite foods there, because we all do have our favorites, I'm sure. But topiaries, that's like the big thing in the floating garden, but the topiaries are like amazing there. So do you guys each have your favorite topiary? Sarah Newberry, let's start with you.
Actually, my favorite topiaries are the mini floating gardens that you just touched base on. They're just beautiful, and they're vibrant colors, and it's located between the walkways of World Showcase and Future World. And they change them out every year, and it's a beautiful design. That's my favorite area to hang out and get pictures.
The one thing I love about them too is when you take the monorail in, if you actually take the monorail in, I love coming into Epcot on the monorail, because then you get to literally like go through Epcot and you go right over the floating gardens. It's so pretty. I love it.
It's so pretty.
I know. Eustacia.
Okay, I like all the topiaries, but I especially like Belle and the Beast. They did a Snow White and all the 7 Dwarfs one year, and I thought that was amazing. They also did a Tinkerbell and Peter Pan one year, and I really loved that too. But Tinkerbell's my favorite character, so.
Lori Z.
All the character ones are fun, of course. Seeing all of your favorite characters in the form of a topiary is great. But honestly, my favorite topiary at this festival is the dragon that sits in the lily pad lagoon in front of the China Pavilion. He's kind of a smiley, happy dragon. He's not very scary, but he's really cool. He's just different.
I don't really think it's hard to say for favorites, because like you said, they're all like amazing.
They're all awesome.
Yeah.
UK, and you have like Winnie the Pooh and Eeyore and Piglet and all that. But everywhere you walk, there's so many cool topiaries. So, well, there's different like garden trips that you can take. So, they're all like scheduled, so you can pre-book those through your agent. But then they get you up earlier, and you can kind of walk through the park before the park opens, and they give you a lot of history of the topiaries, which is wicked cool, because I mean, some of those topiaries are years old, but the amount of work and dedication that they have to deal with that topiary all year round is like unbelievable. So McQueen last year in the 2019 Flower and Garden Show, so they had them all ready and they had them out, but because he's sponsored by a sponsor, and the sponsor, there was something wrong with the car. It wasn't like up to what they thought. So literally like the day before they had to put the topiary out, they had to do a whole bunch of these modifications to the car to make sure that the sponsor approved it. So it's just like, it's amazing what all these horticulturists can do. It's like super busy after the park closes. That's when all the maintenance trucks comes out. So like all of our walk paths are just like solid packed with different maintenance trucks, cleaning crews. Like there is so many people working the park after we leave to get it so it's ready for us when we get there. Anybody else have any other good insider tips?
There is a bamboo garden. There's a bonsai tree exhibit.
The bonsai is so cool.
Yep. There is a Tuscan kitchen garden in Italy, so you can figure out the different herbs and spices that go into Italian cooking. There's a tropical rainforest garden. There's a Moroccan spice garden. There is two tours offered in the UK pavilion. One of them's complimentary, and you kind of just get an idea of the different leaves that are used in English tea. The second one is $20 per person, which is nothing, and you actually get to go into World Showcase before it's really open to the rest of the public and you get a more in-depth English tea garden tour, and you get to go into the little Twinings tea cottage and sip different teas and have scones.
Barry, you got any other fun insights for us?
I'm thinking. Okay. But just a tip in general, take your time, because there are so many little topiaries and herb gardens, and then there's a butterfly garden. And if you have small children with you, inevitably they'll spot the playgrounds, because you go to Disney World to play at the playgrounds. But definitely take your time when walking through the park. There are a lot. It's not just in World Showcase, it's all over Future World as well. So that would be my tip, is just to take your time and enjoy the little nooks and crannies of EPCOT.
Yeah, that butterfly garden is actually a really cool thing that they do. Like, just a neat thing, especially with the kids. Like, they've always loved going in and seeing that.
What I think is so fun is, like, my mom and I actually spent a ton of time in there last year, because it's the whole process from, is it a caterpillar to a butterfly?
Yeah. Good
The
job.
whole process from a caterpillar to a butterfly. I think it's just so cool. And there's so many of them. Oh my goodness.
The whole thing is just such a fantastic, especially when you're coming out of a very brown and or white winter, to the Flower and Garden Festival, which is just an explosion of color. And that's everywhere. And it gets you excited for planting your own gardens and creating your own outdoor spaces and cooking, because obviously it's all about that.
Yeah. So let's talk about our favorite foods. Oh my gosh, because there's just so many great things. And this is another tip that I would just say before we go around about the food, is even if there's a country or something you're like, oh, I don't really like that kind of food, I don't want to eat. You guys, they're just like tasters. You have to try it, because there are so many things, and I eat anything, but I still am like, oh, there's so much food. I just need to keep going and go somewhere else. It's the stuff that I want to pass up, and then we decide and we stop. It's like amazing. So this is your opportunity to try so many different things. It's awesome. So I actually like all the beverages. They kind of have, like, all the fun cocktails. They have frozen stuff. Oh, and I think they, they have this lemon drop one. Yeah, pull out that book. Pull out that passport.
Pull out that passport. I can't remember what any of them are called.
Well, in the meantime, Eustacia, tell us what your favorite, if you have one.
Well, there's tons of food, and it does change, like you said, but I always love when they have seafood, whether that be lobster or scallops, but that's one of my favorite things. So I always tend to go towards those types of foods. But it's also a really good time, because each one of those food items counts as a snack. Or if you get all three, like a lot of the booths will have three, like maybe 2 meal things and 1 dessert type thing. You could get all 3 of those, and that would be a quick service credit. So it's a good way, if you have a dining plan, to be able to utilize that sometimes too.
Always gravitate towards the Italy pavilion. Who doesn't, right? It's Italian food. Who don't like Italian food? For Flower and Garden Festival, the little booth is called the Primavera Kitchen. And one of my favorites was the meatball parmigiana, which is handmade beef and veal meatballs with tomato sauce, mozzarella, Parmesan cheese, and fresh basil on top. Because with Flower and Garden, they always want to throw that fresh something when you see that green on top, or fresh tomatoes, fresh this, fresh that, stuff that you can find in your garden. That's kind of what makes the foods at the Flower and Garden Festival stand out from the others. It's one of my other favorites is from a booth that was called Florida Fresh.
Oh yeah, that was great.
And they had this, and believe it or not, it was meat. It wasn't seafood, you would have thought, but it was carne asada, served with it was served over a black bean cake with a cilantro lime sour cream on top. Yeah, okay. I'm like, my mouth is watering. So, I mean, and the thing is that, again, everything is so tasty and so fresh and so wonderful. And if it's like Sarah was saying, I'm going to build on that. I was at a festival one year and I saw that it was food and wine festival actually, and one of the countries represented there was New Zealand, and they had lamb. Well, I'd never had lamb before, and I didn't want to spend the money in like a nice restaurant to order lamb and then find out I hated it and $50 later. So this was the perfect opportunity to try something new, and I found out at the International Food and Wine Festival I hate lamb. It's awful. I can't stand it. But I paid about $4 to find that out, as opposed to a $50 meal. So totally building on what Sarah's saying, it's a perfect opportunity to try things. And if you don't like it, it's okay. Garbage can, move on.
I can't even believe
you're not going to go hungry.
Something you don't like.
I think maybe you need to try it again. Maybe it wasn't very good. I love lamb.
It's disgusting. Ugh, can't stand it. No.
So Sarah Newberry, did you don't have a favorite? You don't have anything that's like, woohoo?
Nothing that really stands out. But if it has bacon, I'm probably gonna stop.
There's always many things that have bacon.
Well, and I know a lot of people like the fruit sushi.
They
make a sushi in Japan out of fruit.
Yeah.
So it's on my to try list.
Oh, and the thing is that it's always different. It always changes. It's always something new. So, if you are going to go if you become an annual pass holder and you're there every single year, you're going to find things that are new from one year to the next.
Yeah.
So, it always is fun to explore what the new things are going to be. I love getting my passport and flipping through it and seeing what's coming, what's ahead, what I can look forward to.
Yeah.
I think last year was the first year that they had it. But out in the China Pavilion again, outside of their food booth, they had a Chinese artist, but it was the cotton candy artist that makes those super like cool designs. I mean, they're like, $25 for a thing of cotton candy, but it's the most beautiful, like different flowers, different shapes that you can do in it. I think we waited in line for 45 minutes for this, and we're probably only like 7 deep, but it's because it takes so long to make them and they're so unique. And that was what Trinity had to have. That was the one thing she wanted. She saw that it was there and she's like, we have to have that. So it was pretty cool.
And of course, there's the concert series, the Garden Rocks concert series, which is going on, which we haven't mentioned yet, where you've got acts and you can sit down and enjoy a free concert by people you've actually heard of, bands you've actually heard of. It's not some Joe Schmo that you've never heard of before.
I went to Richard Marx last year.
Another great thing to note is that the concerts are included in your park admission. You can either do a dining package where you will get preferred seating, so there's a separate line for that, or you can just stand in the standby line and take your chances on one of the 3 show times that they have during the day. But it's every day during the festival, and I believe the concert series changes. Is it every 2 to 3 days with the artists? I feel like the hardest part is once you see what the concert lineup is. All right, well, now who would I want to go see? I'll just go back down.
Just keep going.
Just keep going. Yeah, it's a concert. I mean, you could pay for a concert ticket the price that you pay for a one-day pass to the theme parks.
Right.
So now you're just getting bonus. You're getting attractions, you're getting food, you're getting eye candy with all the topiaries. I don't know.
It's a win-win.
It is. It really
Absolutely.
Well, everything about Disney is a win-win, really.
is. Yeah, that's
And
true.
now we're all ready to go.
I know.
Okay,
So
we
wish.
have been for a while, so.
Well, ladies, have I missed anything else? What did we answer all our questions?
I think we kind of covered most of the bases.
The history.
Oh, right. We didn't do the history.
History.
Okay. So there's the history of the EPCOT International Flower Garden Festival dates back to 1994, 1995, when over in the Germany Pavilion, if you're familiar with where they have the train set up, someone had decorated them. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. 2020 would have been the 27th annual International Flower and Garden Festival.
Which is so stunning and beautifully bright there, and nobody there to see it.
I know. It breaks my heart. It absolutely breaks my heart.
No, I feel like we should just get a private plane real quick and just like fly over the festival.
See all the flowers from above.
I'm pretty sure that will cost us way more than any annual pass.
Right. Maybe
Not
just
necessarily
wait.
feasible.
Well, thank you all for joining us in our dream series, and I'm so glad we finally all got together and kind of put one of my favorite festivals together. But I think after we're all talking, I think we'll be doing a few other ones, and you know, we're all Disney's in our heart. It's so sad that it's closed right now, but we will be able to go back there, and next year is a big year for Disney World. So can't wait. It's going to be epic. And then hopefully the new fireworks show for EPCOT will be able to still open later this year. We'll see.
Fingers crossed.
I know. All right. Thanks, ladies.
Thanks
for having
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Very cool.
Well, should we just close it out?
Yeah, I think so.
Kinda good,
We got it. I
right?
think we covered everything.
Well,
Yep, go ahead.
yep. Did you
Wait.
have something?
No, I was just going to say go. Hold on. Okay.
Oh, I waited for you. Sure.
That's timeout. Technical. What is this?